Willkommen zur Verleihung des A Tribute to Award. Dear distinguished guests, welcome to the A Tribute to Award ceremony. Bitte begrüßen Sie mit mir den Gastgeber des heutigen Abends. Please welcome the host for tonight, Stephen Gätjen.
Toll, dass Sie alle da sind. Übrigens, die Musik ist kein Zufall, die habe ich mir gewünscht. Die muss meine Familie jeden Morgen spielen, wenn ich zum Frühstück komme. Zur Einstimmung auf den Tag. Toll, dass Sie da sind. Wir haben einen wunderbaren Abend vor uns. Wir sind in einem fantastischen Konzerthaus. Wir können in Zürich Sie durch die Leinwand spüren und sehen. Und vor allen Dingen haben wir ganz, ganz tolle Sachen vor. Nummer 1, Sie werden gleich einen wirklich ganz, ganz beeindruckenden, wunderschönen Film sehen, May December. Und Nummer 2, wir wollen den Mann ehren, der ihn auf die Leinwand gezaubert hat. Und wir freuen uns sehr, dass Sie heute Abend beide unsere Gäste sind und die begrüßen Sie mit einem so unfassbar lauten Applaus, dass man den in meiner Heimatstadt Hamburg hören kann. Hier sind die Produzentin und der Regisseur von May December. Please welcome the great Christine Vachon und Todd Haynes. Welcome Todd and welcome Christine. It's great to have you here. It's a pleasure and an honor. Ich erzähle Ihnen ganz kurz was über Todd Haynes, weil das ist wirklich ein Filmliebhaber durch und durch. Er hat seinen allerersten Film bereits in der Highschool produziert. Das war ein Kurzfilm namens The Suicide, damals 1978. Jetzt hat er mehrere Filme gemacht, auch Serien, und heute Abend sehen Sie seinen 10. Langspielfilm namens May December. Zum 5. Mal spielt Julianne Moore mit. Das Skript hat ihm Natalie Portman gegeben im Jahre 2020 während der Pandemie, und er hat gesagt, das war eins dieser Drehbücher, die man liest und sofort in der Sekunde denkt, daraus muss man einen Film machen. Das hat er, und den werden Sie gleich sehen, aber vorher gibt es noch ein paar warme Worte von dem Mann, der alles über Filme weiß und vor allen Dingen auch über Todd Haynes. Bitte begrüßen Sie mit mir den künstlerischen Leiter des Zurich Filmfestivals. Hier ist Christian Junge.
Thing about running a film festival is an evening like this, where you can honor a filmmaker you've been admiring for many, many years. I'm a fan of Todd cinema since I saw The Gold Mine back in the 90s. And this year at Cannes, I came out of the Palais where I saw May December, and then I ran into producer Christine Vachon in a side street of the Crozet, and I said, we need to bring this film to Zurich and Todd, and here we are. With Todd Haynes and May December. It's really a great pleasure. And Todd, I try to express what I see in your films and why I like them in this Laudation. When a globally renowned plastic doll shattered all box office records this year, you probably could only smile in amusement. Your first feature-length film, Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story, which made you famous at age 26, was animated using Barbie dolls. Today it's a cult film and a classic of avant-garde cinema, blending feminist theory, highly precise camera aesthetics, musicality, and a critical love for Hollywood glamour. No one understands better than you how to bring past eras of modern cultural history to life from their own aesthetics. However, it's not the allure of yesteryear, the trendy retro that interests you, not the homage to supposedly better cinema days, and certainly not their clever parody. Besides Rainer Werner Fassbinder, no one has come as close to capturing the style of Douglas Sirk as you did in Far From Heaven. By addressing the omissions of classical Hollywood, what censorship only hinted at, you truly approach historical truth. Your romantic drama Carol, nominated for 6 Oscars, possesses the graceful elegance of Max Ophüls. Every scene in this forbidden romance exudes an elegance that would have been rare in any era. From Superstar to the glam rock spectacle of Velvet Goldmine to the Bob Dylan biopic I'm Not There, your sensuous and musical cinema found an ideal playground in pop phenomena. You dedicated one of the best rockumentaries to perhaps the most modern of all rock bands, Velvet Underground. With your adaptation of Mildred Pierce as a miniseries starring Kate Winslet, you set the standards for faithful literary adaptations, surpassing even the Bette Davis classic. Great actresses often delivered some of their best performances in your films, as we currently witness with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore in your latest masterpiece, May December, we're about to see. Perhaps you are truly the last filmmaker of your generation who could rival the great old masters of Hollywood. But as you once said yourself, you can be a smarty pants director, but that won't matter if the movie doesn't work emotionally as well as intellectually. Dear Todd, you are a director we love, and this marks your 3rd time at the Zurich Film Festival in 10 years. We are delighted to present you with our award today, but before we do that, let's have a look at the trigger drill.
Christmas tree in the whole world.
I never knew it was wicked stuff. It was just a traitor.
Marge, what's wrong?
How do you know my wife?
Marge, please. You're the great American institution that never gets mentioned on the 4th of July.
But it's not his fault.
Down there is exactly the same.
Dear audience, and now please welcome our tribute to award winner, the wonderful Todd Haynes.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out tonight. Thank you so much, Christian, for those incredibly kind, thoughtful words about my films. This means so much to me, especially coming from Zurich Film Festival. There are a few film festivals in my career that have sort of been constants throughout my life. The Cannes Film Festival, where we just premiered, May, December. The New York Film Festival, where we just opened the festival with May, December on Friday. The Venice Film Festival, where I've had many premieres in the past. But Zurich has been a place that we've continued to come back to. And so getting this award here means so much to me. My first trip to Zurich, it may not have been the festival. It was so many years ago, I forget, but I was here with my very first feature film, Poison, and came with my partner, Jim Lyons, who starred in Poison, who was the co-editor of Poison, and we stayed at our dear friend Matthias Brunner's apartment that he shared with Thomas Amann. And Thies took us around Zurich. And he told us stories of hosting Fassbinder and his company of actors in the early 70s, which couldn't have impressed Jim and I more. And he took us to a bar where you could smoke hashish in the back room. And I was like, wow, this is not the Zurich that I expected. So this has been a place that I've returned to. And I'm here now with my producer, Christine Vachon, now these days we've come just the two of us to Zurich. And we love the city and walking along the lake and swimming in the lake as we did today, and eating at Crow and Holler, and just really loving this place. It's a very special place to love film. Now there are a couple people who've made a recurrence in my life who I'd like to mention tonight. And the first is Julianne Moore. This is the fifth film you're about to see, is the fifth feature film I've made with Julianne. And she has been a creative counterpart for me throughout my life. And it's amazing to have come all this journey, all this way with her as my muse, as my creative partner, and as one of the most remarkable actors on film that we have today. And the other person is the person without whom I don't know what my career would have been. And that is my friend and producer for my whole life, Christine Vachon, who's here with me, who will be joining me on stage shortly. But the creative risks that I've been able to take as a filmmaker have been shepherded and bolstered by Christine's commitment to my films from the beginning. She produced Poison, my first feature, and she's produced every single thing that I've made ever since. So I accept this prize with great humility, but I share it with these two remarkable women, Julianne Moore and Christine Vachon. Thank you so much.
We're going to start without Christine and then we're going to call out. Todd, it's really interesting because Christian just mentioned as well that you have been inspired by a lot of great filmmakers. Rainer Fassbinder is someone who you've mentioned just a couple of minutes ago. If a film student watches your movie, what do you want to give back to the upcoming people who are creating amazing scripts and creating amazing movies from what you've done?
I would say that my films reflect, in a variety of ways, an engaged interest in the history of film. And that's fueled me, and it's emboldened me, you know? And it's, and I think there are times in the past where, and I've talked about this, when we've talked about May December, that centers around these two very complex female characters. But there were times in the past, like in the 1930s, where audiences in the United States wanted to see films starring women more than anything else. And so all of a sudden there was this era where the kind of roles women could play were as diverse and as wild and daring and dark as you could imagine. Films with Betty Davis and Joan Crawford and Barbara Stanwyck and all of these actors. And that changed. Things started to shift in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. And definitely today, it's not the same culture. So you can learn so much from the past, and it can embolden you and give you a sense that there was radical things that were going on a long time ago.
I'm going to try and translate it into German. Meine Frage war, Todd Haynes ist ja sehr inspiriert von unter anderem Rainer Werner Fassbinder. Meine Frage richtet sich darauf, auf das Thema, was er denn Menschen, die jetzt Filme machen, die jetzt sozusagen nachrücken, mitgeben möchte, wie er sie inspirieren will. Und er hat gesagt, dass jede Dekade, in der er Filme gemacht hat, eine besondere war und er jedes Mal mit jedem Film auch mutiger wurde und er vor allen Dingen zurückschaut auf die 30er Jahre, wo vor allen Dingen das Publikum sehr gerne Filme sehen wollte und auch bekam mit starken weiblichen Schauspielerinnen und Charakteren. Joan Crawford hat er zum Beispiel genannt. Und dann war das auf einmal zu Ende. Dann gab es in den 40er Jahren wieder eine komplett andere Bewegung, in den 50er Jahren. Und er sagt, das ist das Schöne am Film, dass sich das so verändert und er möchte Teil dessen sein und das möchte er auch gerne weitergeben. You just mentioned Julianne Moore and how important she's been to your career, and Christian already mentioned it as well. I mean, Rooney Mara, Cate Blanchett, Julianne Moore, all actors who you've worked with, who've done outstanding work on the big screen and who've received awards for the movies that they've done with you. What is your approach with actresses and actors that differs from other directors that make them so special? What is your approach when you work with Julianne Moore? Do you basically say, you're so good, I'm not going to tell you what to do?
You know, every actor is different. And I learned that early on. If there's one thing I learned early on as a director of actors is that you have to respect the differences and the different methods and processes that they bring to their work. But when I met Julianne, for instance, it was a fully formed artist that early on in her career, you know? The way she understood the lens of the camera and what it could see that I can't even see in the room sometimes when I'm directing her. There is an understanding of that minute, you know, aspect of this medium. So I continue to learn from Julianne and Cate Blanchett and Kate Winslet and Charlotte Gainsbourg and these remarkable people, film after film.
Das Beeindruckende ist, er hat ganz viele großartige Schauspielerinnen in tollen Filmen besetzt und vor allen Dingen haben die durch die Zusammenarbeit mit Todd Haynes auch zu Recht Preise gewonnen. Unter anderem haben wir eben gerade gesprochen über Rooney Mara, Julianne Moore oder Cate Blanchett. Und die Frage war, was macht er anders als andere RegisseurInnen? Und er hat gesagt, es geht gar nicht darum, was ich anders mache, sondern jede Person vor der Kamera ist anders. Jede Person hat ein komplett anderes Verhalten in dem, wie sie erarbeitet, sich vorbereitet. Und Julianne Moore als Beispiel ist eben ganz besonders, weil sie, als er sie das erste Mal getroffen hat, schon komplett war als Schauspielerin. Sie wusste ganz genau, was sie mit der Kameralinse machen muss. Sie hat teilweise mehr gesehen, als Todd selber als Regisseur in dem Raum sehen konnte. Und er lernt kontinuierlich von all diesen großartigen Menschen, mit denen er zusammenarbeiten darf. Todd, last question, and I spoke to you about that earlier. I saw an ad today at the airport in Hamburg, and it basically said, you think you have time, you don't. Call your mommy and daddy. That's a very sweet message. But what I wanted to know is there this one topic, this one movie, this one story that you still want to tell in your creative lifetime?
There are many that are sort of lining up. The very fact that I've started to entertain and had incredible responses to and experiences with other writers' scripts. I began writing my own scripts, but since Carol, I've been looking at other writers' work. And it's enabled me to make films more quickly and keep that creative experience moving and churning. So there are some films that are scripts that are original, that are coming. This project with Joaquin Phoenix is the next thing in line. And following that is a project, an episodic project with Kate Winslet that she brought me that we'll do again at HBO. So there's a lot of stuff lining up, and I can't wait to get back to work.
And we can't wait. We can't wait, Todd. Ich habe heute eine Werbung im Flughafen gesehen in Hamburg und da stand drauf, wenn du glaubst, dass Zeit stimmt nicht, ruf deine Mama und deinen Papa an. Das klingt sehr melancholisch und dramatisch, aber es ist ja, glaube ich, so. Die Frage war, gibt es ein Projekt, an dem er arbeitet, das er hofft, noch in seiner kreativen Lebenszeit umsetzen zu können? Und da sagen wir ganz, ganz viele. Er schreibt selber gerne Drehbücher und kommt da auch immer mehr rein, vor allen Dingen, seitdem er merkt, dass das auch unterhält, dass die Leute das auch mögen, was er macht. Aber er sagt, dadurch, dass er natürlich jetzt auch andere Drehbücher liest, kann er viel schneller arbeiten, viel schneller umsetzen. Und sein nächstes Projekt ist mit Joaquin Phoenix, da sind wir sehr gespannt drauf. Und Kate Winslet hat ihm wiederum ein Projekt gebracht, auf das er sich auch sehr freut. Also wir können uns noch auf sehr viele Filme von Todd Haynes freuen. Todd, thank you so much. And now we would like to call your partner in crime on stage, the wonderful and great Christine Vachon. Yeah, you give him a hug and a kiss. It's always good to give hugs. It's always good, all the time. Let's go. Yeah, Christine, okay, stop. Christine, you shared this award with Todd. He said that you are his partner in crime from the first movie that you did, Poison, up until the 10th one that he did. You've been his producing partner. You know, I mean, he's standing right next to us. How would you say has his way of approaching movies and the way he makes movies changed over the time that you've been working together?
Well, first of all, I don't think I share the award because I do think it really, I mean, you know, Todd is at the top of his craft, which comes back to what you asked. I don't know that Todd's approach, it's hard to talk about you in the third person right here. I don't know that the approach to cinema it's changed, it's matured. I think what's happened over the years in an extraordinary way that I got to be part of was watching an extraordinary group of people start to work with us, and Todd really starting to understand more and more how we could use those people to really realize his vision in an extraordinary way. I guess one of the things that attracted me at the very beginning when I saw Superstar was this sense of like, this is somebody who has an understanding of the mise-en-scène that maybe I've never seen before. And that was before I even knew what that was. I just was like, yeah, that. And that has stayed the same.
Christine, I'm going to translate it really quickly into German, sorry. Die Frage war, weil Sie sich so lange schon kennen, so viel miteinander gearbeitet haben, vom ersten bis jetzt zum 10. Film, wie auch die Art und Weise von Todd sich verändert hat über die Jahre in der Zusammenarbeit. Sie hat damals, als sie Superstar zum ersten Mal gesehen hat sie gedacht, wow, was für ein Film, vor allen Dingen, was für ein Typ, der den Film gemacht hat und der versteht, was ich gut finde, was ich gerne produzieren möchte, was für Filme ich in Zukunft auch im Kino sehen will und sagt dann auch noch zusätzlich, dass Todd über die Jahre einfach verstanden hat, welche Menschen man um sich sammelt, also wie das Team aufgebaut sein sollte, um sozusagen die beste Version des Films oder des Drehbuches, den man machen möchte oder die man machen möchte, umzusetzen. Und das hat über die Jahre einfach super gut funktioniert. Christine, you are one of the main characters when it comes to independent films. You've been working so much over the past decades. You've produced so many great, amazing movies. There are always talks about independent movies, that it's getting harder and harder to produce, to get the money, to get them off the ground. Would you say that it has changed to the better over the past couple of years, or has it become, more a marathon than, a short run for you as someone who has this great standing in the business?
I mean, that's always a hard question to answer because when you're in it, it doesn't matter if it's a marathon or a sprint. What matters is that you're getting to the end. And the end is the movie, Although the end isn't really the movie because then there's bringing the movie out into the world, et cetera, et cetera. But I just think part of the reason we've stayed in business so long is we pivot really well. We try to look at disruption as opportunity. And, I don't have a real view on what's been harder or easier. My view is we want to tell original stories, we want to tell provocative stories, and we keep believing that there's a way to do that.
Great answer, thank you. Die Frage war, wenn Sie sich mal angucken, was Christine alles produziert hat, ist es wirklich beeindruckend, weil sie eine ganz, ganz wichtige Figur ist, wenn es um Independent-Filme geht. Und die Frage ist es schwieriger geworden oder leichter? Ist es ein Marathon oder ein Sprint? Und da sagt sie, das ist überhaupt gar nicht die Frage, weil am Ende ist der Weg das Ziel, weil man will ja diesen Film auf die Leinwand bringen und das ist eigentlich immer noch das Schönste. Und sie hat gesagt, sie sind so lange schon im Business und vor allem so erfolgreich, weil sie ständig selber hinterfragen, weil sie schnell sind, weil sie schnell agieren und vor allen Dingen, weil sie provokante, tolle, originäre und originale Stories erzählen wollen, die es so halt noch nicht gibt. Und ich glaube, das ist auch etwas, was extrem beeindruckend ist. Christine and Todd, thank you so much for being here. Always.
All right, I just want to say, in all of that about independent film and about Killer's long career, just that filmmakers like Todd are what makes it really worth it. And if he didn't make those movies, you talk about my commitment, but I have to talk about yours for 1 second. Just the commitment that you have made through your career to doing things the way you want to do them and not thinking about all the noise on each side is such an inspiration, and it's inspired so many generations of filmmakers and filmmakers that I get to work with because of you.
Making films like this. It's amazing to see what you've done over the past couple of decades. Thank you, Christine. Thank you. No, please do so. Thank you. Good luck.